I mean, like I said in the last podcast, Mark Richardson, the prop master from Power Rangers, he was a really nice guy, and I got all these like stories when I talked to him. And just when you take the time to look at some of the props that they built for the show, it's like it's that doesn't get the credit it deserves.
Yeah, yeah.
Or it's like it also bleeds out into other things. Like you have a lot of independent movie makers now, like the horror movie aspect of independent films. Like they're killing it right now. Like I know there's not one person here who doesn't at least once think about Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Yeah, yeah. And one thing I think about, and correct me if I'm wrong, is the reason that movie exists is because didn't the Winnie the Pooh copyright or the patent kind of
I think it entered public domain or something like that.
Because
something
I was
like
looking at that because we're coming up on now, like with all these IPs that are now becoming. And people I don't think people realize that like it's limited. What is it? 40 years?
Something
years?
like that.
Something like that. Like I could be wrong again.
I don't know too much about law. That's the one thing I don't nerd about.
Well, I got sued a while back. So back in 2010, I got sued by my favorite person, Dana White, in the UFC, and so. I educated myself pretty good on copyright law and stuff, and of course, I got friends that deal with copyright law and everything. So, I don't know a lot about it. I knew a lot about it from my case, but yeah, that's one thing I've always been interested in is public domain when something comes available, because like I said, Winnie the Pooh, and when that come out, that was it was different.
Yeah. So do you remember? So do you remember like a couple of years ago when everybody was freaking out because that Mickey Mouse was like going into public domain?
Uh-huh.
Oh, so here's the thing. It wasn't Mickey Mouse that went into public domain. It was the first ever appearance of Mickey Mouse, which was Steamboat Willie.
Yes.
Steamboat Willie is now a horror movie.
Really?
They're starting dropping trailers.
Do you think that like horror is like the go-to now? Like that's like
I feel like we want to.
We need to make like if we take an object or something that's not meant to be. Just make it into horror.
A couple years ago, they put out a Grinch horror movie. It was independent on the internet. It was just they don't call him the Grinch. He's the mean one. It's not Cindy Lou Who. It's Cindy You Know Who. But
I love it. I love that.
I loved it because it kind of always like flowed. The two ideas that I've always loved seeing was when people combine the Grinch and Krampus, and I'm like.